All right, guys, I'm back with it again. I gotta give it to Sony, to create buzz. I'm not denying that. Again, if you want my initial reaction to yesterday's Sony Pro, check it out on the channel. Go there, put your comments, see what they talk about. It did basically about 3 videos, and I'm doing a fourth one right now because I'm not surprised by the usual crap. I'm not. I really not. So this is Linus Tech. Again, I agree with him some of the time. I disagree most of the time. But it's like he's obviously being a douchebag for reasons. He just, he's a company, you got to push out content and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, in a long time, I'm not even listening to his Friday podcast. I used to listen to it a lot, but I'm like, eh. Anyway, so he has a question: why is the PlayStation 4 worth $700? And Linus gives a untilted, I would say. I won't say egregious, but untilted purpose. So let's just go ahead and watch this.
After some very unpopular moves lately, Sony has finally dropped a welcome surprise on their fans, the eagerly awaited PS5
Welcome surprise?
Pro.
I doubt it.
And while most of what they covered was fairly predictable, we've seen this one before, there was one big surprise. Too bad it was a bad one. The $700 price. By the time you buy a stand, sold separately, this thing is dangerously close to double the price of a base PS5 and darn near what the average American is spending on their car payment.
Okay, I got a question though. Who the hell is paying $700 a car payment? What are you driving? Average? Nah, yeah, it gotta be, because there's no way I'm paying $700. I never paid nowhere close to that. Jeez. My sister just bought herself a brand new car. Her car price is $300. So, what the hell are y'all buying? Ain't no way I'm buying. It is what it is. Whatever. And keep on going.
But in my characteristic way, here comes.
And oh yeah, yes, I went into the comment section. People do not understand how inflation works. Holy crap! And they do something like that. I do not fault Sony for coming up with a console that's worth $700. That's not my argument. They got the money, they want to do it. That's their choice. So you buy what you want to buy. My thing is, the problem with it is, you give me, again, like I said before in previous videos, give me a damn McLaren, but I can't stretch it. I can't drive fast enough. Why get a damn McLaren? Now, if I'm in Germany, where I have the Autobahn, and I could drive 150 miles per hour, then that's a different story. I'll be like, oh yeah. I mean, I have a Nissan Skyline. Now, have I pushed the limits on my Nissan Skyline back home? Not that much. But I have driven that car multiple times over 130 miles per hour. Why? Because we have drag tracks and we have a drag track back home. So I could do that. So at least I have place to, let it run, let it get out of there and do stuff. Now, I didn't spend the expensive money for that, what a car costs. I spent only $20,000. Right now, if I bring it back to America, it's worth over 150 G's. So, okay? But that's my point in this situation. Sony, your problem is not getting a car that have a graphics and all that stuff. Your problem is, where's the games? And that is what my new series of, remember the breakdown series I did about Game Over? I did early this year, I'm doing a new series called basically Generation N. Well, basically, I'm talking about where are the games. This generation has suffered from a lack of games, not by Nintendo and not from indies. Majority from PlayStation and Xbox. It's just been crappy after crappy. But let's see what Lion says.
An unpopular take. While I'm disappointed by the cost, and I want gaming to be accessible to everyone, I don't think we should be that shocked. Adjusting for inflation, this isn't even Sony's most expensive console. And with the serious lack of competition in both the gaming GPU space, not to mention the bigger lack of competition in the console space, I feel like this was sort of inevitable.
Not really.
Just like our sponsor.
Ridge, their massive Hennessy sweepstakes is now an essential with every...
That's good.
I can't believe this is a conversation we're having, but
yeah,
PS5 gamers, what would you rather do? Spend $700 on a new single-purpose closed ecosystem box that requires a subscription to connect online, with a frankly pretty short list of true exclusives.
Exactly.
Or upgrade your PC with the excellent Radeon 7900 XT. That's right.
Yeah, and again, you want to do that, that's your thing. PC is the thing, like I just said, you could do that. But here's the thing though, I'd rather play, if I have $700, I'd rather spend it on games so I could play. That's how I think of it. And the funny thing about it is, PlayStation, holy crap, look at, I know for sure if I go through all my games I have in my Nintendo closet that y'all see multiple times, those who haven't seen it, there's videos about it, but in my Nintendo Switch collection, I know for sure I have at least five, I would say, let me see here. Let's do the average cost at $40. That's $40 times, because I'm up there right close to 200 now. $8,000. $8,000 of games in my damn closet for only one console. Golly. Jeez. I gotta spend it on games than spend it on the daggone console. I'm just serious. I'm serious.
Those are the same price. And even if you don't have a PC, how about a killer second-hand machine with a brand new 7800 XT? It's the same
I got another question. Hold up. Let me see something here. So $800, right? So if we did $800 by dividing the same 40, looks as an average cost for Switch, I could get 20 games. Okay, whatever.
$100 price. What is going on here? Consoles used to absolutely slam PCs when it comes to gaming value. And
Yeah.
what's really funny here is they still do. This is something we explored very recently in our PS5 killer video, where we did kind of kill it, but only by cutting some pretty big corners. So then, Sony, in order to justify the PS5 Pro, you better have something seriously impressive under the hood. Let's take a look. The TLDR of the presentation is what Sony broke down into the big three. And number one is more raw graphics rendering power.
Whoopee.
They have dramatically increased the number of compute units, or CUs, from 36 to 60. That levels up the GPU from about equivalent to a 5-year-old card to being on par with something modern, with Sony promising a 45% uplift. But bigger GPU doesn't tell the whole story here, because number two is 2 to 3 times better ray tracing performance, and that's the one that's most interesting to me personally. Back when Sony was designing the PS5, AMD was realistically generations behind NVIDIA when it came to real-time ray traced lighting. And while they haven't closed the gap yet, at least on their GPUs, Sony disclosed that the PS5 Pro will use a ray tracing engine that AMD has not yet shown us in their own GPU lineup.
Okay.
So these two things alone could be a pretty strong 1-2 punch to drive 4K frame rates up to 60 FPS while simultaneously improving visual fidelity.
Whoopee.
And we're not done yet. Number 3 is a new machine learning upscaling technology they're calling PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution.
Oh,
based on the name, it's safe to say that we're looking at something similar to NVIDIA's DLSS, which allows a game to be rendered at a lower resolution, then upscaled using a model that was trained on higher resolution renders. I can actually imagine this working really well on the PS5 Pro, thanks to the predictable hardware platform, not to mention the relatively smaller number of games to train it on. But, of course, that's all speculation on my part, since Sony was very light on the details, which was kind of a theme of the whole presentation. Sony may have called this a technical presentation, but when you compare it to the nearly hour-long and legitimately deeply technical briefing that they gave us back in 2020, I'm feeling a little bit like they got the color wrong on their iconic ball-shaped button. For starters, it was less than 10 minutes long, and that included the parts where Mark Cerny was narrating over gameplay footage of remarkably older titles. I mean, in fairness, I guess it is a pretty simple sales pitch, that PS5 Pro owners will no longer need to choose between the fidelity of a high-resolution mode or the smoothness of a performance mode, with the juice to give you the best of both worlds at once. Or at least, like both worlds. with graphics showing something like
what?
fidelity levels of detail. To be clear,
jeez.
I respect that Sony is setting very realistic expectations. Like the PS4 Pro, this is not a new generation product. It's a mid-life cycle upgrade. And, based on the now substantiated leaks from earlier this year, it looks like it's almost entirely focused on the GPU. Both the CPU and the SSD look to be nearly identical in terms of performance to the base model. All of which makes a lot of sense. I mean, it'd be pretty dumb to push a big architectural change that might cause compatibility issues. But, as a technophile, it also just felt like a bit of a letdown to spend the first 10% of the presentation going through the 6 key features of the original PS5 if you're going to ultimately leave 2/3 of them untouched. And
Exactly.
the two you did upgrade are pretty much the same thing.
Exactly.
Speaking of letdowns, no one buys PlayStations for the hardware, guys. So, what are they doing showing off a new console without any new games?
That's the
Of
point.
the online anger would have been mitigated if this presentation was punctuated with some gameplay of a new, visually enticing title that isn't going to be recalled 2 weeks later.
I know,
mean,
right?
we've jokingly referred to the PS5 as the PS4 More Pro because some of the
Basically,
best PS5 experiences
that's
are just
most-
PS4 games
that's
running
what
at higher frame rates. And so,
That's what the Xbox One, whatever. That's why this. But to be honest, to be 100% honest, I'm not gonna lie to anybody. I'll be 100% honest with everybody. Nintendo might be going to that same route as well too. But we don't know. I do not know. I ain't seen nothing. I ain't talked nothing, and I'm not in the speculation, whatever. But I'm just saying, that's all basic PlayStations were anyway. Oh, I can play CD and I have a disc. Okay. I can play DVD and I have a disc. Okay. I can play Blu-ray and I have a disc. Okay. I can play DVD still and do a disc and Blu-ray 4K. I can. That's mostly it. And here's the thing: nothing's wrong with that. Okay, I'm not arguing that that's a fault. But if to argue otherwise, that is some like each generation jump was miraculously other than because again Sony started with 3D, so they didn't really start with like 2D, just the 2D jump, whatever. It was 3D, 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 more movie-like cinematic settings, which do look good. Again, not arguing against it. That's good. So I'm just trying to figure out what the hell. Okay, I apologize for that. Somebody's at the door, but I'm gonna keep on going. There's just been noise in the place. Anyway, but I'm just saying that's just the crazy part.
I guess with no new games to speak of, we're stuck calling the PS5 Pro the PS4 More Proer. All of which is fine, I guess, if it wasn't for that big sticking point, the price. But again, I think it's an expectation problem. The PS4 Pro, when it launched, was $400, just $100 more than its contemporary slim model, and, by the way, equal to the regular PS4's launch price. When Sony did that, they set an expectation that the console will go down in price and the Pro will slot in to replace it. An expectation that's no longer realistic.
Nope.
The PS5 has grown up in a very different economic reality than its predecessors.
Yep.
And the cold hard truth is that while Sony's hardware costs have fallen, electronics manufacturing doesn't get cheaper nearly the way that it used to. Combine that with some other recent business challenges, and Sony might just not be in the mood to take big losses on hardware with the assumption they're going to make
big
it up
losses
in the near future on
somewhere.
games. So, with that in mind, it looks to me like they're just keeping the margin structure pretty much flat and giving us about $250 worth of bigger SSD and GPU for about $250.
Yeah.
So what do you want? Well, more competition, probably. I mean, if Microsoft was bringing their A game, or the Switch 2 existed, Sony might be willing to get more aggressive. But
Oh wait. The Switch to what? They don't compete on the same level. They never did, Linus. So that's one thing of Linus I don't like. Hold on. Zelda ain't competing with Uncharted or God of War. Two different games. Cinematic, blah blah blah. Two different games, two different structure, two different things. And again, you only go play Zelda on Nintendo, so Smart for Nintendo for that. Okay, you can play it on PC. You can play God of War on PC if you want. So come on, man. That's the like I said. That's the part I always nitpick me about Linus.
As it is now, they have not only not bothered to drop pricing on the original PS5, they've actually increased pricing in some regions. And with Sony leading the market, I don't see that changing anytime soon.
Whoa, leading what market? What? See what I'm saying? What market are you talking about? The console? What, between Sony and Microsoft? Yeah, they're leading that market. That's about it. Again, where's the games? This is literally why I'm making this new series. Where's the games? I need the games. Where's the games? That's what we talking about, bro. Jesus. They ain't leading nothing. They're leading between only two consoles. Oh wow, one console is beating the other console, while the other person, the one of the big threes, is way ahead. It's crazy.
So, what's the good news? Well, if you watched the side-by-side footage and you couldn't tell the difference, you're not alone. And that's kind of good news.
Really?
If the visual upgrades don't mean that much to you, you can just save $250 and still buy the base model. The PS5 really is, still 4 years later, a great machine for the price. David, the writer for this video, has hundreds of hours on his, and I think that's exactly who Sony is targeting. David, are you gonna buy one?
Yeah.
Predictable. I can't say that I agree with the decision, but I can't control what people spend their paychecks on.
Ain't that the truth? Good grief. Yeah, of course you will. I ain't. I won't be buying that. I'll stick with the getting my console. Again, the part also killed me too. Again, they want something, the thing that Linus pushes and I don't like because it's computers and everything. He also pushes for the whole, because again, you see he didn't really talk about he's talking about the stand and stuff. He never talked about the disc drive, which is $80 plus whatever the stand is at $19. Yeah, come on. No. Y'all want digital stuff because oh, I'm gonna get digital stuff, blah blah blah. And it's so funny. Digital stuff gets sales. Not denying that they don't get sales because after a while it could happen. But the problem with digital stuff is when you archive some stuff, you can't archive all of it. One and two, when it initially comes out, there's no sales for nothing. Because you ain't buy no disc on it, but it still sell a price at $70, like for some digital games. I'm like, what now? Hold up, because let me just see something here. I'm gonna check out my computer. I am working, so yeah. Let me check some. I want to check something here before I send something. Let me see. I'm trying to see if I get Black Myth Wukong. I want to see what the price it is on not Steam but for PlayStation. Just to make sure. Okay, so it is $60. All right, just making sure. But wait, hold up, wait. Black Myth Wukong. Okay, yeah, $60. Okay, $60. I can work with that. All right, good. Okay. All right, it ain't crazy. I'm gonna say because you better don't charge them $70, even though I don't got a disc for the thing. I'm right now. They have some problems with that game, and that game has some crazy invisible walls and problems and stuff. So I was like, happy I didn't bought that game yet. I'm gonna wait for. They said they're gonna do a disc version. Well, make the disc version first before I go do any shit ever to buy that game. So yeah. So just another thing to talk about. It's just crazy. That like I said, I wanted to give an spectrum of all the PlayStation, stuff. And I have to mind, hey, as a Nintendo channel, mostly I've talked a lot more PlayStation. Even though I have a PlayStation console, I have a PS5, and again, right now I'm playing my game. Unlike most people with the whole, Astro Bot is my game of the year. Astro Bot is not my game of the year. Nowhere close to it, because unlike what most PlayStation people are saying, and I'm being truly factual here. Is Astrobot a great game? Yes. Does he do a lot of good stuff what they did with that game? Yes. But the thing is, and every time I hear every review is like, oh, this is the best. Even some Nintendo, like Nintendo Life, they were like, yeah, this is the best platform I've played in ages. I'm like, really? Look, the last platform that I played that had fun was Mario Wonder. And there's another platform that came out that nobody's really talking about too much now that this came out. Astro came out. Bakaru so far, I'm basically is another platform, a 3D platformer that's close to this. Like I said, it's because it is the norm on the Nintendo console to have 3D platformers. People say, "Oh, that's the best." No, they've done good. All right, I am not knocking Team Asobi's, you know, what they did to put this game together. And even something I did not know that you got to go back into Astro's Playroom because they added more. Because if you have the game on there, it added more stuff into the Playroom game, which is cool. That is good, great. That's what Sony really needs to focus on, getting the games, and not those. Because again, this kind of stuff, as and Light is talking about, which I'm not gonna say I'm different with him because all this graphical stuff, blah 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 blah. You're gonna make the game development longer and longer and longer and longer. So for the pinnacle to pinnacle games, it'll take what, 5, 6, maybe 10 years. Like Grand Theft Auto is 10 years already and stuff, just to be on one console. That's all you get in. I don't like that. But that's just me saying what I gotta say. So with that said, I'll catch you on the flip side. Remember, there's no perfect games out there. There's perfect games, not perfect to me. What's perfect to me is not perfect to you. Simply enjoy your games on all consoles, including PC. Bye.